One of the questions I get the most about drawing tablets is, what size is best? The answer to that is subjective, so today I'll demonstrate a range of tablets, and I'll share some tips that will help you determine which one is right for you. This is not a sponsored video, though I did receive some of these tablets for review purposes. As always, all opinions in this video are my own. As you may be aware, there are loads of drawing tablets out there. Too many if you ask me. Tablets range in size from a massive 32 inches wide down to the smallest, which is only 4 inches wide. There are devices that are smaller than this that can be drawn on, but I'm only counting proper drawing tablets with a USB connection to a computer. There are two basic types of drawing tablets, those with a built-in display and those without. Display tablets tend to be larger, and those without a display are often smaller. Each has its own pros and cons. The size of your drawing tablet matters for several reasons. First, you may be drawing on it often and for long periods of time. Anything you spend that much time using should feel comfortable. Otherwise, you risk creating stress on your body. Or at the very least, your body may become fatigued, which limits how much time you can spend drawing. Second, you need a certain amount of gesture space to draw comfortably. Without ample room to draw, the techniques you can use will be limited. Third, size matters because you may not have much desk space to accommodate a tablet. And fourth, maybe you work from several places, so you need a portable device. And finally, depending on the style of art or the subject you're illustrating, certain tablet sizes may perform better than others. Let's start with the most important factor in determining which tablet size is best for you by looking at ergonomics. When a tablet is ergonomic, that means it minimizes the strain on your body compared to something that is not ergonomic. However, we are not all built the same, so what is ergonomic is quite subjective. There are two main considerations for choosing a tablet size that is ergonomic. First, the type of tablet. A display tablet, if used in a vertical position, requires you to hold your arm up, whereas a standard drawing tablet will almost certainly lie flat on your desk. Naturally, resting your arm on a desk is less physically demanding than holding it up. You can rest your arm on a display tablet without making marks on your canvas, but even so, my arm does get fatigued when drawing for long periods of time. The trade-off is that I can work on a vertical canvas so that I don't have to hunch over. Tablets like this Cintiq 22 often have the advantage of being attached to an adjustable stand that can easily move from a vertical to horizontal angle. There's also the consideration of how you are positioned. Are you sitting at a desk? Are you standing? Or are you resting the tablet in your lap? Like a traditional drawing surface, your drawing tablet should be as close to your body as is comfortable. For smaller tablets like the Intuos, this should be not far in front of you and maybe off to the side a bit like a sketchbook would be. For a medium-sized tablet like the Wacom 1 or the Intuos Pro Medium, it should be right in your lap like a larger sketchbook. And for a large tablet, if it's a display tablet, it should be upright so you can see the entire canvas. There's a reason why traditional artists place large canvases on an easel. That may mean investing in a stand or a monitor arm for your display. Otherwise, you will be hunched over your tablet and it will quickly get uncomfortable. If it's a large non-display tablet, then it should be right in front of you. Typically, these just sit on your desk and do not require a stand since they aren't very tall. Second, the size of the tablet determines how much freedom of movement you'll have while working. Some artists might not like being confined to a tiny space, while others may prefer a size that only requires a minimal amount of physical movement. For the most part, if you want to be able to stretch your arms out and roam around a large canvas, you'll want to get a display tablet since the non-display tablets top out at around 12 inches wide. When you commit to a drawing tablet size, you are committing to working at that scale for everything you create. It may not seem very important, but it's a lot like living in a house. Everything you have to do, from eating to sleeping to bathing, has to be done within the physical limitations of that space. So it may be helpful to think about your tablet like a traditional sketchbook or canvas. What size do you typically work at? If you only doodle in a small sketchbook, you may not need a tablet that is very big. If you don't have a preference or you work at a variety of sizes, it would be beneficial to have a larger tablet because you can comfortably create small art on a large tablet, but it's difficult to make large art on a small tablet. Next, let's focus on gesture space and how it differs between large and small tablets. Depending on the type of art you create, you may use small gestures, large gestures, or everything in between. For example, if I paint a lot of long hair, I want to be able to have enough room to create long sweeping strokes. This type of gesture is a lot more difficult to do zoomed in or in segments. On the other hand, if I'm painting short strokes for grass, I really don't need much gesture space at all. How about line art versus coloring? Line art requires a lot of gesture space so you can draw straight lines and smooth curves. Coloring, however, doesn't require much gesture space at all, since the strokes need not be as accurate. The larger a tablet you have, the more space you have to gesture, and for many types of drawing, large gestures are essential. It's much easier to freehand draw a circle using my elbow as the axis of motion, rather than my wrist. Same goes for drawing straight lines. It's really challenging to do it with small gestures. Another consideration is what happens when you gesture beyond the edges of your canvas. On a small tablet, that may mean your pen leaves the active drawing area and ends up off the tablet. This can interrupt the drawing experience. On a larger tablet, you might be able to gesture off of your canvas and still have your pen resting on the active drawing area. A display tablet attached to a monitor arm or stand will even allow you to rotate the orientation of the screen so you can draw in portrait mode. Tablets without a display are fixed in a horizontal orientation. You can still work on vertical artwork on these, but you lose a lot of the active drawing area. You will have the greatest vertical active drawing area on the larger tablets and the least on the smallest tablets. If you bought one of those 4x2-inch tablets, good luck working on portraits. It's not just the gesture room that gives large display tablets the advantage here. It's also a benefit to be able to see your lines appear next to your pen while you're creating these gestures. It's a lot more difficult to draw accurately if you have to draw while looking up at a display that is apart from your hand. Even with a lot of practice, there is still a lot of mental and physical energy wasted on drawing this way. It's a struggle to make strokes the way I want on a non-display tablet, and it's more frustrating than it needs to be. But not all art requires large gestures. For example, you might only want to use your tablet to draw pixel art, or maybe vector art. In those cases, a small or medium-sized tablet without a screen might be all you really need. Anything more than that would be a waste of money. Let's also not forget hand size. If you have smaller hands than me, then a smaller tablet might not feel as small when you gesture. And likewise, a large tablet like the one I use might be too large for you to even reach across comfortably. Now let's discuss the element of desk space and how that might influence your choice in drawing tablets. Like the artists who sit at them, desks come in all shapes and sizes, so you should probably consult with your desk before choosing a tablet. It might be like my desk and say, "Give me all the tablets you can handle," and then it proceeds to bench press them all. Or it might be a TV tray that screams and runs away when you bring home a Cintiq. Not to get off topic, but I'd say if you don't have a comfortable desk, I'd recommend investing in that before you buy an expensive drawing tablet. I spent more than 10 years making art at an uncomfortable desk that wrecked my back. I had persistent back pain until I finally purchased a standing desk. With my current setup, I can easily sit or stand while working on my tablet in either a vertical or horizontal orientation. However, if I pretend my desk is much smaller and I draw on a tablet without a display, you can see how much less desk space I have to work with when I'm not combining my drawing tablet with the monitor. In that regard, the larger tablet requires less desk space. One way I could conserve desk space would be to place my tablet on the keyboard tray, then slide it out into my lap. But then I have to find somewhere else for my keyboard. The next factor that might help you decide which tablet size to buy is portability. So far, large tablets have been doing quite well in this review, but here's where they're going to be at a major disadvantage. Aside from the fact that most display tablets require power from a wall outlet, they are also very bulky, especially with a stand, HDMI cable, and a laptop attached. Plus, there is the risk that you may scratch the display while transporting it. For the most part, I wouldn't recommend moving around really large display tablets like the Cintiq Pro 24 and 32. Those really should just be mounted to a stand or a monitor arm and stay on your desk. That's not to say it's not worth the effort to have the best drawing experience wherever you go if that's what you do for a living. It's just not practical for the average person. So if portability is a concern, then a medium or small tablet is going to be the best option. The Wacom One is a display tablet that is very low profile and can even be connected to a compatible smartphone. Aside from the mess of wires, this is a really portable setup. However, a phone is not nearly as powerful as a laptop, so it would only suffice for simple sketching and painting. In contrast, many non-display tablets can be connected wirelessly to a laptop with Bluetooth, so that may be an advantage if you want to minimize how many cables you need to tote around. The Wacom Intuos Pro Medium is a decent size to draw on, and it takes up hardly any space at all. However, if you want a good balance of screen size, power, and portability without a lot of bulk, the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro 16 is really the best option. It's an all-in-one display tablet with a built-in computer. As of the making of this video, it's the ultimate portable drawing setup in my opinion. I've used it to create paintings outdoors in all sorts of locations. The only downsides to this model are that it's not nearly as powerful as a high-end desktop, so making digital art on it can feel sluggish, depending on how demanding of an application you're using. And the screen is not sufficiently bright enough to see clearly outdoors on a sunny day, but that can be said for most displays. And last, let's look at how each tablet size performs with various art subjects and genres. I'll start with portraits. For this type of art, size matters. You'll need to be able to make long strokes for hair and broad gestures for sketching. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, many tablets have a limited amount of vertical drawing area. You will want to be able to see a lot of your canvas at once, so ideally you want to be able to have a large drawing area to work with, even while zoomed out. The larger Cintiqs work best for this. You may also prefer painting portraits on a display tablet like the Wacom Cintiq, because it is more precise since you can draw directly onto the screen. And for the price of the largest Intuos Pro, which has a 12-inch active area, you can get a medium-sized display tablet like the Wacom One or the Cintiq 16, which are 13 and 16 inches respectively. Landscapes are a style of art that does not require a specific tablet size. Aside from a foreground tree and his friend, most of the gestures tend to be short for this subject matter, and the compositions are usually in landscape orientation. However, that's not to say that there aren't ergonomic advantages to working on a larger drawing area. Line art is a genre that can benefit from a large tablet size because of the variety of freehand lines required for this style. I wouldn't recommend anything smaller than a medium tablet. Drawing on screen would feel more natural, but you could also do without it. Coloring can be done on a small tablet. If that's all you need a tablet for, it might be a better investment to get a smaller tablet and a color-accurate monitor. Photo editing is also something that can be done on a small tablet. All you'll be doing are small touch-ups and slider movements, so a larger surface would just require more physical movement and take up unnecessary desktop space. Same goes for vector art and pixel art. Those don't require large gestures and would work fine with a small or medium tablet. The exception being vector brushes that you would draw with freehand. In that case, a larger tablet would be better. For 3D artists who sculpt, I would recommend a large tablet because there may be larger gestures you need to create. I know that was a lot of information, so I will summarize. A larger tablet is more comfortable to work on, it is more accurate to draw on, it allows for greater freedom of movement, and it is more versatile with fewer creative limitations. A medium tablet is a good balance of drawing area, portability, and size. A smaller tablet requires less physical movement, it may take up less desk space, it is the least expensive, and it is the most portable and least bulky. Personally, I find small tablets to be too confining to use for art. I can't draw comfortably on anything smaller than a medium. You couldn't get me to trade in my Cintiq for anything smaller, and the 32-inch model is just a bit too big, so 27 inches is my sweet spot. It's slightly bigger than an 18 by 24-inch canvas, which is a good size to work at for larger art. And there's the factor of drawing on screen. It feels terrible to draw on a tablet without a screen. I spent years drawing this way before I had a display tablet, and now when I have to demonstrate drawing on a tablet like this, I don't look forward to it. So unless there is a reason to get a small tablet, I would recommend purchasing the largest tablet you and your desk can accommodate. And if possible, purchase one with a display that you can draw directly onto, like the Wacom One or a Cintiq 16. But Aaron, all you showed was Wacom tablets. That's true. And that's because I have tried many so-called Wacom competitors' tablets, and they aren't good. With the exception of Apple and Microsoft, who have their own proprietary pen technology, or Samsung and other companies who use Wacom pen technology, most of these companies are just stealing intellectual property from Wacom. All these companies have to offer are cheaply made imitations like you'll find for just about everything. Just look at how many options there are. They pump out the same tablets multiple times a year in different shapes and sizes. And they try to use different brand names, even though many of these companies are owned by the same larger company. I don't blame you for being confused about which tablet to buy. It's like that for a reason, so that there's a 90% chance you will buy a junk tablet. Even if you return it, that's just cash flow for them. And you may go on using that tablet despite its flaws because you just don't know any better. Don't be that person. In previous reviews, I used to say, if all you can afford is one of these imitations, don't let my opinion stop you from getting into digital art. But you know what? That's not right. What good does it do to encourage you to start with the wrong tools? Sure, you might get into digital art with a crappy tablet, but I want you to go farther than that. I want you to stay interested in digital art. I want to do everything I can to help you overcome the obstacles I faced early in my career and move beyond beginner. And speaking from experience, even the most basic Wacom tablet is better to draw on than the most advanced imitation. So don't buy one of those imitation tablets. Save up for a Wacom, buy one used or refurbished, or look in thrift stores. I see loose tablets there quite often. That investment is an investment in your long-term digital art career. And don't forget that you can start with a smaller, more basic tablet and work your way up as you earn money from your digital art. That's all for this video. I hope I was able to answer your question about which size drawing tablet is best for you. If I did, be sure to give this video a large thumbs up on a small one, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.